The 6th of December, 1492. At dawn, I found myself 12 miles from the harbor, which I named Puerto Maria. I saw a lovely cape to the south by west, which I named Cabo de la Estrella. And it appears to me that this is the last land of this island to the south, and it is about 21 miles away. Another land appeared to the east, seemingly an island of no great size, at a distance of about 30 miles. He continues then to describe the lands that he is looking at. He's crossed the Windward Passage, and he's come upon the island that now is where Haiti and the Dominican Republic are. So that's, and he continues, and it's a longer read, and we're short on time, but he finishes on that day his entry for December the 6th. 1492. Opposite the harbor, there's a beautiful plain. In the center of it, the river I've mentioned. There must be a lot of people in this region, since I've seen so many canoes, some of them as large as a rowboat, with 15 benches for the rowers. All the Indians fled when they saw our ships. Those Indians I have with me from the small islands are so desirous of returning to their lands that they think I will take them back after I leave this place. They are already suspicious because I have not taken the route toward their homes. Because of this, I do not believe what they tell me. I do not understand them, nor do they understand me, and they are scared to death of the people on this island. In order to have had conversation with the people here, it would have been necessary for me to remain for several days. I do not stay because there is so much that I have not seen, and I am not sure that the good weather will continue. I hope in our Lord that the Indians I am carrying will learn my language and I will learn theirs. Then I can return and talk with these people. I hope to God that I can have some good trade in gold before I return to Spain. Well, here in Florida, the folks that were living at that time were Calusa down in this part of the world. There was Tocobagas, the Temucuans, Appalachia, down in the Miami area, Tequesta, and in this book, The Calusa and Their Legacy, South Florida People and Their Environments by Darcy McMahon and William Marquardt, which Parks got for me and gave me. Thank you very much, Parks. We learn about some of the early contact and the results of that. But Parks, you were there, and there was something. You took the tour at the Randall Research Center.
Yeah, I did, and I was not aware of all that. And I was amazed. There were mounds built up over 1,700 years. You know, I mean, cultures as old as the Romans and the Egyptians, and the mounds were made up of oyster shells and conch shells and whelk shells and various other things that they've been eating for, you know, that thousands of years. And I came up on a burial mound where the only thing that consisted in that mound was bodies from those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And it was a profoundly spiritual feeling. I could feel it. And I was really interested that a Spanish priest had observed that the Calusa would go up to the mound and speak to a specific dead relative or friend or mentor, and they would seem to get information. And the priest, who normally would probably be dismissive of a primitive heathen religion, said, I saw that they seemed to get an answer, and they would know about things that would tend to happen later on down the road, which was amazing. And he said also they would have answers to questions that proved to be right in general.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't been to the Randall Research Center, there was about 5,000 Calusa that lived there, 3,000 to 5,000 Calusa that lived right there at Pineland at the early contact, and they've done a great job of trying to identify what those people were about and how they lived and to And they've learned a lot over time. When Juan Ponce de Leon encountered the Caloosa Indians in southwest Florida in 1513, he was not hospitably received. The Caloosa already knew that the Spaniards had enslaved and murdered Caribbean Indians because they had allowed refugees from Cuba to settle in South Florida. The Caloosa continued to resist European domination for nearly 200 years, but in the early 1700s they finally lost their hold on their ancient homeland. The Caloosa and the Europeans, chapter 13 in this book, explores that, and we're going to talk about that. There's some great illustrations derived from descriptions of the early contact, and so during this year of Viva Florida, we've got the 1513 to now. It's 500 years, and so there's going to be all kinds of discussions about what that contact meant and how that works. That leads me to people's ideas of themselves and their God and their spirituality. And so next week we're going to talk a little bit more. I thought I was going to get to it some this morning about prophecy and politics. There's a very interesting book by Grace Halsell that talks about militant evangelists on the road to nuclear war, and about Zionism and Palestine, and really talks about understanding people and places, and how that the self-identification and their spirituality, how that affects how you act on the earth, and what your expectations are. I'm going to go out of here though on a Mindy Simmons, If It Were Up to Me.